Skinwalker Ranch, also called the Sherman Ranch, is known as one of the most active paranormal hotspots in the US, with nearly 100 bizarre incidents being reported on the property. Everything from UFO sightings and mutilated cattle to poltergeist-like activity is reported on and the area around the ranch. This terrifying activity has gone on for decades. The ranch is located on 512 acres in the Uinta Basin in northwest Utah. It's 3.5 miles from the town of Fort Duchesne. The ranch is adjacent to a Ute Native American reservation and is also near Navajo land. Military bases are also not far from the area. The ranch was named after the Navajo legend of the Skinwalker. For thousands of years, the Ute occupied much of the land in Utah. The Navajo and other tribes also lived in Utah and other surrounding states. In the beginning, the Ute and Navajo got along and would sometimes fight together against other hostile tribes. However, things changed when the Ute first acquired horses from the Spanish. They began to abduct Navajo people and sold them in the New Mexico slave markets. In the 1800s, the Ute joined the U.S. Army in the Canyon de Chelly campaign, where they assisted Kit Carlson and General James Charlatan in destroying Navajo homes, food, and supplies. It is documented that Carlson's policy was to capture Navajo instead of killing them. But in practice, this was more of a preference than a rule that was enforced. If the Navajo tribe would have abandoned their homes and way of life, they wouldn't be killed. If they didn't, they would be raided by their former allies, the Utes, and their new enemies, Colonel Carlson and his army. Colonel Carlson would go with his army, searching through the Navajo's land, killing, capturing, and terrorizing the Navajo, all the while telling them if they surrendered, they would be given shelter, clothing, and food. The Navajos fought back, but going against two united enemies was too much for the Navajo tribe. The Navajo people could not contend. Eventually, nearly 8,000 of them surrendered and were made to walk over 300 miles to the Bosque Redondo Reservation in 1864. 200 Navajo died during the walk, and the deadly journey became known as the Long Walk of the Navajo. During this time, many members of the Navajo tribe fled and hid. Among them were healers, known as medicine men and women. These people were very important to the tribe and were held in high esteem. But among the healers existed a few powerful practitioners that secretly practiced evil magic. They would perform gruesome ceremonies, cause harm, and torture others. With every new evil deed, they would become more powerful, until they committed the most evil act, the murdering of a family member. After that, they have proven they would do anything to acquire more power. That's when they would become Yi-Nagloshi. Yi-Nagloshi translates to one who walks on all fours, a skinwalker. According to legend, these frightening witches are capable of taking on the shape and appearance of both animals and humans, even specific humans. Wolves, deer, coyotes, foxes, owls, and crows are some of the most popular animals that the skinwalkers have been known to impersonate. These Navajo witches wanted to use their power to keep the Utes and the white man away, so they put a curse on the land. They would transform into wild animals and cause havoc. They would manifest terrifying creatures that were able to travel through dimensions. Some say the paranormal occurrences on the ranch are more likely to be these summoned monsters traveling through dimensions and not the Skinwalker themselves, while others claim they have seen animals changing forms. There are also reports of large black humanoid creatures with red eyes that are seen running across the road. There are even rare reports where someone claims they accidentally interrupted a Skinwalker while it was transforming, saying the transformation stopped when the Skinwalker noticed them, leaving a strange creature with its flesh and bones all out of place. In addition to the occurrences on the ranch, many have reported seeing strange things in the areas surrounding the ranch. On the road leading to Fort Duchesne, massive-sized wolves and coyotes have been seen. Often these creatures have completely black eyes. People report seeing men and women with the heads of dogs along the road. One person said while they were driving through the reservation, they saw a woman at a well. As they drove by, the woman looked up, and she had the face of a dog. The mainstream media and government have treated these sightings as if they are nothing more than a collection of hoaxes. Wikipedia goes as far as to say, according to skeptical author Robert Schieffer, the phenomenon at Skinwalker is almost certainly illusory. Not only was the several years long monitoring of Skinwalker by the National Institute for Discovery Science unable to obtain proof of anything unusual happening, but also the people who owned the property prior to the Shermans, a family whose members lived there 60 years, deny that any mysterious phenomena of any kind occurred there. Schieffer says, the parsimonious explanation is that the supernatural claims about the ranch were made up by the Sherman family prior to selling it to the gullible Bigelow. Schieffer wrote that many more of the extraordinary claims originated solely from Terry Sherman, who worked as a caretaker after the ranch was sold to Bigelow. This statement is intentionally black or white. Robert Schieffer knows just because there were no reports that he was able to find doesn't mean they don't exist. When any scientific study has its results published, it's forced to reveal the methods it used to test. If the National Institute for Discovery Science used equipment or tests that it felt were novel, it might not want to share that information without receiving some sort of benefit. There's also the possibility of the testing instruments and methods being of concern to national security. If the technology could be used to reveal stealth aircrafts, it could be used against the USA. Also, Robert Schieffer saying the previous owners never reported anything is not only false, but ignores a newspaper article published about the property in 1906 that reported strange noises from homesteaders in the Uinta Basin. In the next episode, we are going to 1937 when the property was bought by the Myers family. So make sure you're subscribed and ring that bell.